Okay, let's move on to the second section that talks about public, private, and hybrid cloud. Okay, let me just, can you see my screen? Public, private, and hybrid cloud. So, so I want us to get good examples of them. You understand? So it's easier uh to understand. So now we have public, private, and hybrid cloud. A public cloud is, in a layman definition, is a cloud that provides its services for the public, quote and unquote, the public, meaning that I, as a person in my house, I can request for the service of that cloud provider. Do you understand? I don't need to be a big entity to request for that service. I can just request for it personally. And for instance, you have some companies that fall under it. You have AWS, you have Azure, you have Google Cloud. I think Hawaii and so on and so forth. They do public cloud kind of also. So those are public cloud services. Amazon, AWS, that's Microsoft Azure, GCP. They provide public clouds, meaning that it can be the public can use it, meaning that you don't need to be a private entity to use it. So that's how it is. So now we have the stuff around it here, which talked about their importance, their pro and cons. You have number one, yeah, you have the high scalability, you have low upfront, the cost, and so on and so forth. So one thing I want to pick out about this thing is number one, high scalability. This high scalability means that uh, when you need more resources, or you need more infrastructure, or you need more storage, or so on and so forth, they are able to provide it for you. Do we get that concept? If you need, I like for instance, when you start your company, you need like two servers, and your company is running fine for on it. Now your company become big, and you need more servers. The public cloud can provide that for you. They can provide more servers as much as you want, more storage as much as you want, and more resources as much as you want. And their cost is kind of variably low. And you are charged based on what you use. You won't be charged for what you don't use. Do we get that concept? You are charged based on what you use. That's what it's called pay as you go. For instance, if you are using a VM, you are charged for using that VM. You are not charged for you not what you are not using. For instance, you are not using a storage account, you can't pay for that storage account. So, for instance, if you have a storage account and you have like 5 gig or 1 gig that you request for, that's you pay for that particular volume of space that you request for. If you are using 5 terabytes, then you pay for 5 terabytes. So that's one of the importance of public cloud, and I think it's better. The cons is that you also have lesser control, security is a shared responsibility, and so on and so forth. All these things, I don't want you to boy yourself about it. When it comes to security, cloud services are really secured, like secured. But the resources and the data that you have there, you need to secure it yourself. Let me explain what I mean by that. You request for a virtual machine, they will give you a virtual machine. You can create a virtual machine. You can choose the amount of CPU, amount of memory you want on that virtual machine. That's what you need, and you will get that. The networking around it, they will, and as you requested, they will give it to you. But when it comes to the data in that virtual machine, this cloud service is not going to intervene in that data. They won't work on your data. They won't sniff into your data. That data belongs to you. What you do, who do you give access? Who you give access to the data in your server is now left to you. For instance, an an ex-staff, an ex-employee in your organization has left your organization, and that ex-employee can still access your server. That is on you, not on the cloud service. Please, do you get that concept? So there's a memorandum of understanding that is signed. When you get these things, you can read the terms and conditions of these cloud services and know your own part of the security and their own part of the security also. Now, let's move to private cloud. So, private cloud is dedicated to private organizations, meaning that, let me give you an instance. So, some couple of years ago, there was a bid by the US government. They said they want to move some of the stuffs they have on their government organization stuff, and they want to move it to the cloud. So there was a bid. Maybe they should use Amazon Cloud or they should use Microsoft Cloud. It was a deal between them, and I don't know who actually won. I don't want to get into it, but once they create the cloud, the person that wins the contract is going to create something called a private cloud, not a public cloud. Do we get that concept? They will create a cloud infrastructure that is meant for the government. It's not a general cloud infrastructure that anybody can just request from their home. No, it's meant for the government. The security on that private cloud infrastructure is highly controlled, meaning that me as a person now, I can't request for a private cloud because I'm not a big organization. I am not keeping a data that consists of the data of everybody do what kind of, you understand? But a big organization like a big farm, like I don't know what, do you understand the concept of a big pharmaceutical company? They can request for a private cloud because of the kind of data they have. Or a government organization can request for a private cloud, like Nigeria can request for a private cloud. I think Nigeria talked about that they have a private cloud run by AWS, but it's a private cloud, but it is managed by AWS for Nigeria government. Please, do you get that concept? That is what is called a private cloud. So the next thing would let's talk about the pro and cons of it. So in the pro and cons of private clouds, one of the things you should look at here is I've talked about the high control in the private cloud, the enhanced security, customization, and compliance. Please, they are really secured. Private clouds are really secured, and they are still run by these major cloud providers. Again, you understand, they are the one that provide private cloud and public cloud. Now they now have something called the cons. The cost is really high. Can you see it? A very high cost and limited scalability, meaning that they can't just come and say, okay, I need 10 servers today added to my cloud. No, it doesn't work like that. For private cloud, you must request for it upfront. Also, they have dedicated IT personnel that are in charge of private clouds. You understand? So, and they consist of sensitive data, critical applications, and strict compliance needs. Please, let's just ensure we note that. Also, now when it comes to public cloud, sorry, hybrid cloud consists of both private and public. So let me give you an instance. So you have some big companies in this world, quote and unquote, big companies. So those big companies have public cloud, but because of they have contracts with government organizations, they have to register on that part of their leg on hybrid cloud, sorry, private cloud. Do we get that concept? The company initially runs on what is called a public cloud, but because of the contracts or the processes they do involve government organizations, big private data is involved, they have to run those things on private cloud, not public cloud. So in that case, they are they are doing both private and public. That's what's called hybrid cloud. Do you understand? So it's not one kind of big stuff. So, but it's not everybody that actually uses it. But you can check. I can try to get a data of private, public, and hybrid cloud. You see that we have A lot of people fall into the bucket of public cloud. You have a smaller category of people that fall into private cloud, and you have another small category that fall into public and private together. That's hybrid. So that's the difference between private, public, and hybrid cloud.